What is up guys, and welcome back to another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. So today we don't have a gold farming video for you, but rather a very interesting video, at least I think so. So today we're talking about Mage Spellstealing and some of the effects this might have on the future of the expansion itself, and how it can be abused to do, well, possibly game-breaking things. I don't know if it's actually game-breaking, exploiting, or just clever use of game mechanics, but it could present some very interesting things in the future that I want to talk about in this video. So before we start, I wanted to show you guys some examples of what you can spell steal as a mage. So for example, right here, if we go to this cultist right here, the Anubar cultist, I can try to pull this guy before anyone else pulls him. Hopefully, apparently, so here we go. He gives me something called Seal. So by getting this one, I'll be getting increasing cast speed by 20% for 2 minutes. Basically, spell stealing this guy gives me this spell for 2 exact minutes, increasing my cast speed by 20%. That is not really game breaking by any means at all whatsoever, but it is a buff that only mages can get, and it's a 2-minute buff. These kinds of buffs can be used for anything really. Like for example, right now I am located right here, but I can fly up to Wintergrasp, pull all of the mobs over here, then just clear them out super quick, so you can use it to incorporate into different gold farms around the world. But you have to fly back and forth, so the question is, will this be worth it for gold farming? Not really, probably, unless you're actually farming at the location. So for example, right here I could be farming all of these humanoids, all of these slayers, but will that be optimal gold per hour? I don't think so, especially when the buff is only giving me 20% cast speed. Either way, I'm going to show you some more examples of what you can actually spell steal, then we'll talk about what they will be used for. Well, oh yeah, the location, by the way, is right here. Almost forgot about that one, but right here in the Ice Mist village is where you get the seal buff. So you can get this from the Anubar Slayer, but also by going down to the Ashol Narub cave, you will have high warlord high cultist Sangus or something. He also gives you this buff, by the way, so you can either spell steal the cultists in this village, or you can go down and spell steal that named mob. Oh yeah, one more piece of interesting info here is that actually you can stack these seals as well, so eventually you can have a lot of casting speed increase as a mage. So for example, right now I have 4 stacks of these on my mage, which is absolutely mental. So you have plus 20% right here, plus 20% again, plus 20% again, and plus 20% again as well. So for example, right now, if I just go and pull this guy and casting Fireball, you can see the cast time of Fireball is set to 1.4 seconds. And if he can pop seal as well, oh, he just popped it, I was being too slow. But yeah, you can basically stack this infinitely just to give yourself, well, way more casting speed. So if you get 5 stacks, you'll be increasing the cast speed by 100%, and just going past that as well. So if you can just find a lot of cultists, you can stack this as much as you want. The one thing I will say is that if you pull 1 cultist, that will only refresh your buff. So for example, to get 4 stacks, you have to have 4 different cultists and spell steal all of them. So 1 mob will give you 1 stack. If you try to spell steal that mob again, it will just refresh that stack over again. So to get 4 stacks, you have to get 4 different mobs at the same time. So yeah, just to give you that one, you can get a lot of these cast speed increases right off the bat. You can stack them as of right now. This might get nerfed as this video or different videos get more popular, which I'll talk about in a second as to why they should probably nerf this sometime down the road. But I also want to show you 2 more examples of spell stealable buffs that can be game breaking here. Okay, so the next example of spell stealable buffs that is up here is from these Murlocs right here, which are the Winterfin Oracles. So these guys will give you a spell stealable buff, or they will buff themselves with a spell stealable buff, increasing their spell power. This one is basically playing with fire though, so I'll be very careful about this one. But basically it's called unstable magic. So your spell damage done is increased by 150, and your spell damage taken is increased by 300. So yes, spell damage increased and spell damage taken increased as well. So you're basically increasing your damage output, but also increasing your damage taken. So you see I have 2 stacks right here because I pulled 2 different mobs. I'm going to be pulling 1 more right here, spell stealing that one as well. So you can see now we have 3 stacks instead of the 2 that we had. So as long as you pull 3 different mobs, you can get 3 different stacks. And once again, you can stack this as many times as you want. So once again, you're playing with fire, but you're a fire mage, that's okay. You're used to playing with fire anyway. But yeah, you can be increasing your damage output by a lot right here, increasing your spell damage infinitely. And with the previous one, you're also increasing your spell casting speed infinitely as well. So increase spell damage, increase spell casting speed. And we have one more that I want to look at, but first let me just show you the location once again, just in case you're not familiar with this location, even though it's very popular. So it's located right here in Borean Tundra. You have lots of murlocs, but only the oracles will give you this buff. So you can see short striders right here, you can see warriors as well, but you're only looking for the oracles. Once again, one mob equals 1 stack, but you can pull several of them and get several stacks, and they last for 2 minutes. So then, for the last one that I want to show you guys for today is the Valkyrian aspirants. I've already made a video specifically on this location and the farm as well, but I'm just going to be showing you this in this video too, just to show you one more spell stealable buff that has been somewhat fixed already, but it's a super good one. So for example, right here you can see me spell steal this one, and this spell steal is called Metanoia. So what this one does is it will, I'm just going to invincibility here to just get away. I see BA farming these ones right now. But this one will increase your critical damage received and dealt by 50%, and it will increase your caster's chance to critical strike by 25%. So by stacking all the 3 buffs that I've shown you in this video so far, we are getting plus 50% critical damage, plus 25% critical strike chance, and you can stack your cast speed infinitely, and you can stack your spell power infinitely as well. It is all based on the 2-minute interval right here, so you have only 2 minutes of each buff, so you have to be very quick if you want to stack them as much as possible. But here's what I want to talk about. So one of the reasons why I'm making this video is that I was doing Noxramas the other day, and well, we had a mage in our group, and he asked to go out, get a buff, and we could summon him back, and he came back with a buff, so he asked to be summoned right before we pulled the boss. I had no idea why, but I was like, yeah, sure, like I'm playing a warlock, right? So I was like, sure, I'm just going to be summoning you back, it's fine. He came back and he absolutely pumped. So I was like, what did you just do? And he told me about the one buff, the one in Dragonblight, the one I just talked about in the Ice Mist village. And I went on Wowhead, did some research, went through 5,000 different spells just to find one more located in Borean Tundra, the one from the Murlocs. So now we have 3, and there's definitely way more in Wrath as well. It's such a broken expansion. I know there's one huge one in Sholasar that I could not find, but I know there's one huge one there as well. There should be one more in Storm Peaks, and I do think there's one in Ice Crown that I'll be checking out. But basically there's a lot of buffs that will increase your character's output. Now this one right here that I'm showing you, the Metanoia, this one was also stackable like the other 2 that I've shown you in this video, but now that's been fixed, so you can only have 1 stack up at any time. So I do think Blizzard just made an oopsie there, so you could stack them instead of just having 1 stack. So maybe now that the other 2 are made public too, maybe they will change those as well. But as of making this video, you can stack the one from Ice Mist Village that I just showed you at the start of the video, and you can stack the ones from the Murlocs as well, because once again, I showed you in this video, they are stackable right now, but I'm expecting that to get fixed. So that was a long ass video just to talk about spell stealing, but we're reaching the main part of the video now. But I think it was important to show you guys those 3 abilities for spell stealing and how they affect your character's output, so that we can have this discussion that I want to have right now, and I'll be making my point super quick, so you can let me know what you think down below. So I just talked about the mage who came into Naxxramas with one of these buffs available. I'm not sure if that is intentional, or if you can even do that without a summon inside, but he got inside with lots of haste, he casted so fast, he was topping the DPS meters like never before, and yeah, I don't know if this is supposed to be available inside raids, and if it is, well, that's broken AF, bro. If mages can just go around, get these buffs, get summoned to the boss, and just pump out damage, imagine stacking those buffs from the warlocks 10 times. You would have 1.5k spell damage for 2 minutes. If you can get, for example, let's say you get a friend of yours to just pull 10 murlocs and keep tanking them. and he waits for you. You spell steal all of them, you get a summon inside their raid, you pull the boss, you have basically 2 minutes of 1.5k spell power buff on you throughout the entire pull encounter. Or maybe, let's just put it this way, in the current meta that we have, which is basically based on parsing, speedrunning, world first meta, all of that stuff, you definitely know that if it's possible to have all 3 buffs inside one raid for one huge boss encounter, people are going to do it. Like, just imagine when fire mages become bis, like later in the expansion, everyone could just go outside, get these buffs, and just nuke one boss so fast. Fire mages in ICC could be pulling 40 to 50k DPS with the heroism and these buffs active if they don't get nerfed. And I could imagine it being like this, like top guilds would have one tank stationed at Borean Tundra, like one non-raider tank, he would just be stationed here pulling 10 murlocs. The mages would come by, spell steal, then they would get summoned all the way over to Dragonblight, do the same over there as well, and maybe they would skip Storm Peaks or skip one of them because you only have 2 minutes, and then they would get summoned to the boss and they pull right away, basically min-maxing their downtime and getting as many buffs as possible, and just nuking the boss as fast as possible. Could definitely be used on bigger bosses where you need damage output from the start, and the damage buff here is insane. There's definitely other things you can do as well, like for example, in World PvP, if you go to Borean Tundra right now, you spell steal these murlocs, you go arcane, you can basically one-shot anyone with arcane blast. So if you're into World PvP, well, go arcane, spell steal some murlocs over here and get a huge spell power bonus, go outside, hunt some hordes or alliance based on your faction, and really have some fun in World PvP, bro, if you want to do that for sure. But I'm more interested in the raiding aspect and how this could affect the top the top bracket of raiding pretty much. So if this is supposed to be happening, and if people can use these buffs inside raids, or if that was a one-time thing. I remember in Season of Mastery we even found a way to bring world buffs inside Molten Core at the beginning, which was not supposed to happen, and Blizzard did fix that one real quick, so maybe this was just a glitch somehow. But either way, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Mages and spell stealing is definitely a huge thing in Wrath. It was back in the days as well, both for world PvP, gold farming, open world farming, anything really. So we're barely scratching the surface here, and I did some very quick research to find 2 of these methods. The third one, the one over here that I'm talking about right now with the Valkyrians, was found by Archvelder, and I made a video on this where I shouted him out as well. But right here you go, Archvelder's Warcraft hacks, he made a video on this one. That sparked my interest, so here we go, we found a couple more. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, a very different one today, but I hope you enjoyed either way. This is broken AF. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and peace out.